Well, it seems the rumors were true. Sonic Origins is getting new content, and it seems like they're pulling the exact same thing they did with Mania. Release the game digitally and then ship it out again a year later physically with more content. Sega just does this to get more money out of the real hardcore Sonic fans. Trust me, I'm a person on the internet. I know everything. I didn't buy the collection originally, so let's go quickly through everything they're adding to the game and see if they can coax me into spending the big bucks. Alright, so Amy's being added to the main roster of characters you can play in the Genesis Classics. This is really cool actually. Amy hasn't seen a playable appearance in a major Sonic game since 06. No, Boom does not exist. And the last major time she was playable in a 2D game was in Sonic Advance 3 on the Game Boy Advance. There was always a ton of ROM hacks that allowed Amy to be playable in the older games, but having an official way to do so now is really cool. Makes me wonder how they're going to handle Sonic CD. Amy gets captured in that game by Metal Sonic, so will Amy rescue herself like Luigi in Mario Galaxy? Or will it be a Super Princess Peach situation where you save Sonic? All of these outcomes sound interesting, but I'm sure they'll put in the bare minimum and just omit that cutscene altogether. Seems like they're finally keeping their promise of adding new playable characters from that one trailer from about a year ago. Okay, wait, hold on. While I was writing the script, I wanted to make sure I wasn't experiencing a Mandela effect, so I looked through the trailer again and found out that they actually edited it! Sly devils they are! It's not false advertising if you eventually add what you promised into the game, right guys? Right. Anyway, Amy's eventual addition to the game is a cool one that should have happened about a year ago. Not now. Alright, so 12 Game Gear games. This is certainly interesting. The entire Sonic Game Gear library all in one package, huh? It's really cool that they're re-releasing some of these, especially since the 3DS eShop is about to close. And that was the last accessible way of being able to play these Game Gear games. Until now. There were quite a few games to go over, so let's make this quick. Tails Skypatrol. This one's a shoot 'em up as far as I'm sure. It was included in Sonic Adventure DX as a secret unlockable and was also available in the Sonic Gems collection. This game hasn't been re-released in almost 20 years, so this one gets an A-OK out of me. I haven't actually played it yet, so who knows. Tails Adventure. This one's a puzzle platformer, but Wikipedia calls it a Metroidvania for some reason. I haven't actually tried it out, so I wouldn't know. This one was also both in SADX and the Gems collection, and was on the 3DS eShop. Again, I haven't played this one, so it may be time to try it out. Sonic 1 and 2, huh. These seem to be the Master System versions, right? They're the Master System versions, right?
No!
These are the Game Gear versions of the game, damn it! The Game Gear versions of the game aren't straight ports of the Genesis games. They're ports of the Master System games. The Master System games are vastly different to the Genesis games, being based more on straight platforming rather than the momentum-based platforming of the Genesis games. This also makes me ask, why not just grab the Master System ROMs instead? The Game Gear versions of the game have awful screen crunch. You won't be able to see a lot of the things off screen with these versions, so it just doesn't really make sense to me. I played a bit of the Master System version of Sonic 1, and it is certainly different compared to the Genesis version. It's got its own style, and it's worth playing if you want to see what the other side is like. I haven't played Sonic 2 though. Sonic Triple Trouble. Alright, you know what? I actually like this one. It's easily the best Sonic Game Gear game. It goes for a more theatrical flair similar to Sonic 3 with cutscenes and such. It's charming to look at and has a pretty memorable soundtrack. It also introduced Fang the Sniper, otherwise known as Knack the Weasel, a cool character that would go forgotten throughout the decades with Sonic. Sonic Spinball and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. On the Game Gear. This has got to be the most confusing decision of all. These are both Genesis games. Why not get those versions? I've played both the Genesis versions of the games, and I'd imagine they'd run, look, and sound much better than the Game Gear versions. This is genuinely baffling. Sonic Blast! God fucking damn it, Sonic Blast! Sonic Blast is one of the ugliest, most lifeless video games I've ever played in my life. There's absolutely zero sense of speed, and that's a problem if you're making a game of Sonic in it. All the levels are either boring or just plain frustrating. Don't even play this for shits or giggles or anything, it's not worth it. Sonic Drift 1 and 2. This is interesting because the first Sonic Drift never released outside of Japan. It was eventually brought over with SADX again, but Sonic Drift 2 got a worldwide release. So, what do you think they did about naming the game outside of Japan? Did they take a similar route with the Super Nintendo Final Fantasy games and just alter their number by release? I don't even have to finish this joke. They brought it over as Sonic Adrift 2. Gonna be honest, I've never actually played either game. I'm a fake fan, I'm sorry. Sonic Labyrinth. Sonic fucking Labyrinth. Okay, so in this game, Sonic is slow. And that's all I have to say about the game. Sonic Chaos is a game built ground up for the Game Gear, so it has a small screen to take account of. I don't assume this one is all that bad, but I'm not exactly bringing up my hopes either.
So that was a fucking lie.
Alright, so post-editing Conic64 here. It actually turns out that Sonic Chaos was made for the Master System and then ported to the Game Gear. So, sorry! God, why the fuck do I do this? I'm so bad at this. And that's every single game they're bringing over into this collection. Fantastic. Alright, don't get me wrong. I think it's great that they're bringing these lesser talked about Sonic games into the limelight, but I still feel like they could have gone further. What about Sonic 3D Blast, the Genesis version or the Saturn version? Sonic R, the Genesis versions of Spinball and Mean Bean Machine, Knuckles Chaotix, Sonic the Fighters. Man, I actually would have really loved to see that game come back. Fuck, throw in some of those weird Japan-only Sonic arcade games like Sega Sonic the Hedgehog or Waku Waku Sonic Patrol Car. I can't believe this is real, by the way. I'm not asking for much. I just want every single classic Sonic game all in one collection. Alright, I'm joking on that last part, but I really feel like there could have been more than just the Game Gear ROMs. And Amy, of course. The original Mega Collection had a bunch of trailers and little videos you could watch. Some of the Archie comics were in there too. Maybe throw in some old episodes of the old Sonic Sat AM cartoon and the Adventures of series. Maybe revive the Sonic OVA or something. I just want this collection to be on a similar level to the Sonic Mega Collection. For people who have never played a Sonic game before to know that they're getting a good package when they buy Sonic Origins Plus. So far, I'm pretty split down the middle on this. Could just be me being a negative Nancy about this, but I don't know. Actually, I'm not being a negative Nancy here. People who bought the game digitally have to pay $10 extra for the rest of the stuff included in the Plus package, while the retail version is still just gonna be $40. That's stupid, that's fucking scummy, it should have just been free. Anyway, I was going to close out this video with an outro, but I was thinking, outros are so 2010s. I think YouTubers all around should just cut their videos off mid-sentence.